The great New York Post sports columnist Mike Vaccaro has written many columns about the journey of athletes attempting to return to the field or court. However, recently Mike wrote an incredibly inspiring column about his personal journey to get back to the golf course following a leg amputation. Now my colleague is kind enough to take some time out and talk to me about that journey, and he joins me now. The great Mike Vaccaro. Mike, how are you doing? I told you personally I was very inspired by your column, so I want to say thank you for sharing that. But how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Dexter. Thank you. Yeah, I've got an incredible amount of response to the column. I do think it kind of touched people, and I think I actually heard from some people who were going through similar situations and said that it was actually helpful and useful too. So that's, that was really, when you write a column like that, you really do hope you reach out to people like that, and that seemed to have happened, which is great.
Yeah, I think in storytelling, you always hope that it inspires and touches people in some way. And for me, you definitely did that. I know for others out there too. But let's start here, Mike. In August of 2022, you received a diagnosis that a portion of your left leg below your knee was unsalvageable. You learned that you would have to have below-knee amputation. Can you take us through your mindset receiving that news and then thinking about what needed to happen next in your life?
I was lucky, Dex, because I've been experiencing leg issues for a couple of years and was having limited mobility, for months leading up to that particular moment. And in fact, a couple of weeks earlier, my podiatrist had told me, I'm not saying this has to happen now or in 2 weeks or in a year, but you just might want to think about, how much better your quality of life might be going forward if you decided to have an amputation, as opposed to going through years of fruitless rehab or looking for the proper stern boot that you could wear and stay upright, but you're still not going to be able to do, to go very far or experience much mobility. And so, I was kind of prepared because of that conversation. 2 weeks later, just circumstances landed me back in the hospital. And that was the, universal diagnosis among all the doctors was that was what was necessary. And so, rather than catching me off guard right before they were going to wheel me into the OR, I sort of had some time to prepare for the idea of what this might be. And so that allowed me, once I decided to have the procedure, and once the doctors, urged me that was best, I was kind of fully ready for it.
You were ready for it and ready to do it, and then you had the procedure, and obviously there's a journey back. And one of the things about a journey back, Mike, from any kind of injury or surgery is the process of rehabilitation. So what was it like working with your rehab team and going through that rehab process where you could be back to moving around again? What was that process like?
Nothing short of remarkable, Dex, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be able to have written a story like that because I would never have been in position to be that far advanced to where I am 10 months later, if not for my team behind me, especially the ones at Kessler Rehabilitation Center in Saddlebrook, New Jersey. From occupational therapist Jackie Corcoran to physical therapist Shane Matta, who was my prime PT, Mary Beth Ryan, who runs the inpatient service there, Cynthia Macaluso, and Gianna Bracco, who are my outpatient PTs now. My prosthetist, Joe Reka, who is just phenomenal. Everybody on that team has just been incredible. And, it was almost as if their primary function was to make sure I could become comfortable back on 2 feet again. And that's what happened over the course of time, and some hard work and some, hard work on my part, but harder work on their part in some ways.
Yeah, it takes a team. Takes a team for sure, Mike. Yeah. Sorry to cut you off there, Mike. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, and Mike, I was very fortunate, Dex, because you really do need a team and everybody kind of working for the same goal. And fortunately for me, that common goal for everybody was to get me back on 2 feet. And they all knew that, to me, that manifested itself by going out and playing golf again. And I was able to do that, less than 10 months after surgery, which is incredible.
That is incredible indeed. And as you said, it takes a team. And shout out to Kessler Rehabilitation Center for all the great work they did with you, Mike. And so during the amputation and rehab process, I thought about this for you when I read your column, because I thought about what you were thinking about and how much did you think about two of your loves, right? You're writing about sports, which is what you do professionally, and then also you love to play golf. So in that time, did you ever doubt that you'd be able to do either again? And I found out that you wrote during that process. So how much did that help for you to be able to do that?
It helped a great deal, Dexter. My doctors all urged me that if you can work, you should work through the process of rehabilitation. Because they're taking care of your body, you have to take care of your brain, your mind. And obviously when you have stuff to occupy your mind and to really keep yourself engaged like I do with my job. And thankfully, the guys at the Post were more than willing to let me keep writing, and so that was wonderful. And yeah, so that was important. Look, I mean, number one was being able to walk again, just being able to get from place A to place B again, without pain, without hassle, which is something that had been kind of more and more of a problem before the procedure. And I reached that level, and so once I did that, being able to play golf really is gravy. Just being able to do all the things that are important in life. My prosthetist did joke. He said, if you've never rock climbed before, now is probably not the time to take up rock climbing. Because I've been a golfer most of my life. He said that's definitely a worthy goal, and that I know a lot of what we've done over the course of this time has been to get me back on the golf course and learn how to walk again.
And now you're back on the golf course, walking fine, and that's beautiful. We talked about the support you've received, right? Because I saw this on social media, outpouring of love and support for you, and you sharing your story. When you go through something like you did, what's the inspiration for you to then share your story about your journey, and what does it mean for you to see the love and support that you've received for this column that's out there now?
Sure. Yes, playing golf is great, but my natural habitat is the press box somewhere, whether it's Madison Square Garden or Citi Field or Yankee Stadium or MetLife Stadium. And so really that was the other thing that kind of, I envisioned. And to me, the idea that I've been able to do that lately, and the fact that I was able to travel with Knicks in the playoffs, get back to my normal routines of life, was very important, and very important to be able to, tell people that this is something that you can absolutely achieve despite the kind of difficulties you might have. And, that was really important.
Mike, lastly, as you mentioned, we talked about this throughout, you're back on the golf course. So I really have to ask you this, because you said it was part of your journey and you wanted to get back there. What does it mean to you to be back? And I got to ask you this as well, too. How has your golf game been now that you were back on the course?
You know what? I was playing in a scramble, and they used my ball about 4 or 5 times. So to me, that was a win. So yeah, it was great. It was a great day. It was a sunny day, walking around in the sunshine again. That's really a win. And to me, just being able to walk on the course and walk off the course, that's a win too.
We love seeing you back, on the golf course. Also, I think for all of us here at the New York Post, all of your colleagues, we were inspired by what you wrote, what you've been through, and how you were still able to do what you love throughout the process. I think that's very inspirational. Everybody, I know I can speak for myself, very inspirational for me. So I want to thank you for that. Thank you for writing this column. Thank you for coming on here with me and sharing your story. I hope this is also inspiring to a lot of people. We love what you do, and we know you're going to continue to do great things. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you, Dexter. I appreciate it.
Anytime. That is the great Mike Vaccaro, New York Post sports columnist. Go check out his column about his journey back to the golf course. It is a really, really tremendous story. Thank you again, Mike. Appreciate you.
Thank you.